Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Deepika, and coming up in the next 1 hour. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar asserts cessation of firing between India and Pakistan was achieved through direct military communication between the two countries. Global outreach on Operation Sindoor underway, with all party delegations visiting countries carrying India's anti-terror message to the world. India takes a giant leap in modernizing railway infrastructure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates 103 redeveloped railway stations under Amrit Bharat Station Scheme. And two Israeli embassy staff killed near Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., suspect in custody. Good afternoon to all our viewers joining us at this afternoon broadcast. To begin with the latest. Well, tensions flared after a terror attack on the 22nd of April in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, claimed 26 civilian lives. In response, India launched Operation Sindoor in the early hours of the 7th of May. Cessation of firing was, and speaking to a Dutch daily, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that the decisive day was the 10th of May when India responded to a Pakistani attack by hitting 8 Pakistani air bases and making them non-functional.
Response targeted these 9 places which were the terrorist centers. They are, as I said, the places are all shown in a UN list. I mean, these is where the terrorists work and live and operate from. Now, after that, the Pakistani military chose to fire on us, and we responded. This went on for 4 days. And after that, the decisive day, I would say, was the 10th of May. On the morning of 10th of May, in response to an attack which they had launched on us earlier that morning, we hit 8 air bases. We basically made those air bases non-functional. That, I think, compelled the Pakistani military to accept that we need to stop firing at each other.
Reiterating a strong message against terrorism, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that operation in eliminating the terrorists continues. He added that Operation Sindoor is not the same as firing on each other.
Operation continues because there is a clear message in that operation that if there are acts of the kind we saw on April 22nd, there will be a response. We will hit the terrorists. If the terrorists are in Pakistan, we will hit them where they are. So there is a message in continuing the operation, but continuing the operation is not the same as firing on each other. Right now, there is an agreed cessation of firing and military action.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also stated that the ceasefire between India and Pakistan was achieved through direct military communication between the two countries and not via international mediation. He ruled out any U.S. role in this understanding or in any possible talks with Pakistan.
The U.S. was in the United States. I mean, obviously there were U.S. Secretary of State Rubio and Vice President Vance had called up. Rubio had spoken to me. Vance had spoken to our Prime Minister. They had their view, and they were talking to us, and they were talking to Pakistanis, as indeed were some other countries. Yeah. I mean, the United States was not alone in this. I think there were some countries in the Gulf. There were some others as well. That happens naturally. When two countries are engaged in a conflict, it is natural that countries in the world call up and ask and try to sort of indicate their concern and what they can do in such a situation. But the ceasefire, the cessation of firing and military action was something which was negotiated directly between India and Pakistan. We made one thing very clear to everybody who spoke to us, not just United States, but to everybody, saying, look, if the Pakistanis want to stop firing, they need to tell us. We need to hear it from them. Their general has to call up our general and say this. And that is what happened.
Dr. S. Jaishankar reiterated that the 10th of May understanding on halting military actions was reached bilaterally by India and Pakistan. After India's strikes and road ahead also lies on the bilateral communication from each of the side.
They've also pursued a radical, I would say, extremist religious agenda, which using terrorism across the border as a way of trying to pressurize us. This has been their history. Now, if you ask me how do we propose to deal with it, we propose to deal with it bilaterally with the Pakistanis. It is something that we and the Pakistanis have to settle one-to-one. And we are very clear with them that they need to discuss with us. We are open to their discussing with us and ending to terrorism. It has got to be a serious talk. It is something that we need to do between.
We're heading for a short break. We'll be right back.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Staying on the same story, we are talking about External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's visit to Copenhagen and his take on Operation Sindoor so far. You heard him saying and giving his different takes on what he said to one of the Dutch organization there, and completely reiterated that how India was very much capable of carrying forward Operation Sindoor and then achieving a bilateral talk with Pakistan also on cessation of firing between both the countries. Well, also External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is visiting Copenhagen, and there he also met Denmark's Minister for Industry, Business and Financial Affairs, Morten Bødskov. The two leaders discussed deepening existing areas of cooperation and exploring new possibilities as well. He also met with Speaker of the Parliament of Denmark, Søren Gade, and appreciated his solidarity as India resolutely combats terrorism. External Affairs Minister Dr. X. Jaishankar said Denmark's strong solidarity and support on combating terrorism has been commendable. He further added that the wide-ranging conversation on bilateral ties and global issues testifies to the strength of our relationship. And to discuss more on this, I'm joined by Ambassador Anil Wadhwa, the former senior diplomat. Good afternoon, Ambassador Wadhwa. When we talk about this very particular issue, Dr. S. Jaishankar, in his first visit after the tensions between India and Pakistan, cleared the air on a lot of important topics. One of the most important is India's role in achieving the mutual understanding reached between the two nations. And he straightaway clarified that a lot of many countries do call in such a situation, but the understanding was reached on a bilateral level in the context of the USA. Now, Ambassador Wadhwa, does that put a full stop to all the questions raised by the opposition on India's capabilities about handling critical conflicts by its own self?
It certainly does, and I think it's very important to clear the air about issues such as these. The narrative is very important, and I think Mr. Jaishankar has done well by clearing the air while he's abroad during this trip, but also while he was in India. I think a series of briefings that took place by the Ministry of External Affairs as far as parliamentarians are concerned, which were led by the Foreign Secretary, but also whenever Mr. Jaishankar had the occasion to do so, he explained India's stand very clearly and exactly what has happened in the sequence of events. So three important things which stand out in his explanations, and these are the takeaways which will be clear now from now onwards. One is, of course, that India reacted to terror, and the fact that the actions on the 7th and 8th night were directed at terror camps alone. After that, when there was an escalation from the Pakistani side, from the Pakistani military at the civilian and other targets, then after that India also retaliated. And finally, the fact that the Pakistanis continued that action, and therefore, the last action that India took was to target the military facilities in Pakistan, which led them to then approach India on a bilateral basis to ask for cessation of firing and military hostility. So this is a sequence of events which is now very clear, and at the same time, the fact that Operation Sindoor is continuing is only paused, and if there is a similar action by Pakistan in the future, as outlined by the Prime Minister, there would be a retaliatory action against terror.
Absolutely, Ambassador Wadhwa, and also while we say that Operation Sindoor is not over yet, Dr. S. Jaishankar further said that borders in Kashmir are not up for any sort of negotiations. How do you see this very clear stand of India backed by measured response and its clear policy?
I think it's a very good decision which has been taken by the Prime Minister to ensure that the policy is well laid out. And of course, we saw a progression in this policy since 2016, 2019, and now in 2025. After all, there is a limit to how much restraint a sovereign country can have. When a neighboring country uses cross-border terrorism as a state policy of creating chaos and also targeting civilians, and this time it was done on a religious basis. And that is what the External Affairs Minister has made clear, that when you have a military general in Pakistan who has already given a hate speech based on religion, and after that the actions from the terrorists follow, then of course India is bound to take action to defend its population.
Also, the Indian delegations are visiting many strategically important global countries to uncover the agenda about terrorism. This is probably happening for the first time, Ambassador Wadhwa. What do you think of such an initiative, and how does that also, make India even stronger in its stand against terrorism?
I think it's very important for a society like India, which is a democratic, pluralistic society, to project its unity and also to reflect what the population and its representatives think. And in this case, that is why the all-party delegations which have gone out to all these 7 different sets of countries are a reflection of the fact that India believes that there is a unity in purpose and a unity in thinking as far as the population of India is concerned and its representatives are concerned. And this is going to be a unique experiment. In fact, I think it should become a narrative for the future. It's very important to ensure that the right narrative is spread. And by talking to their counterparts abroad, it gives a very strong message of where the country stands. And I think it's a very good initiative.
All right. Thank you so much, Ambassador Wadhwa, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on the latest development. Well, India has begun its global outreach post-Operation Sindoor, where the leaders of all-party parliamentary delegation are visiting different parts of the world to apprise foreign nations about India's approach to Pakistan's use of terrorism. The delegation to Japan, led by Janata Dal United MP Sanjay Jha, reached Japan today. Upon arrival, they held a meeting with India's ambassador to Japan, C.P. George, at the Embassy of India in Tokyo, where they were briefed on Japan's specific approach to engagements, setting the context for a strong messaging of India's fight against Pak-sponsored terrorism. DD India's Paulami Burman spoke to Sanjay Jha, who stressed that the delegation aims at presenting India's stand on the new normal.
Members of the all-party delegation has already arrived in Tokyo a short while ago. Right now there's a briefing session that is underway at the Indian High Commission in Tokyo, where the ambassador is briefing the members of the party regarding the approach they are going to follow for the next 2 days in Tokyo. Also, the members will be briefing about their approach and how they would like to take this forward in the country. There are a lot of meetings, and including meeting members of the parliament in Tokyo is lined up for the day.
We have come today here, the all-party delegation in Japan, and we'll be meeting the Japanese parliamentarians, the think tank, and basically to apprise the state-sponsored terrorism by Pakistan. They are the one who fund them, they are the one who train them. You cannot differentiate between terrorists and those countries who sponsored and promote terrorism. So that is the message we'll give to the Japanese people. Whatever happened in Pahalgam, it was all sponsored by the Pakistani government and Pakistani army. Even their army chief spoke a week before, General Asim Munir, and if you see the kind of language he has used, so it is quite a launching pad for what happened in Pahalgam. So that's the message you want to give here.
The all-party parliamentary delegation interacted with leading Japanese think tanks in Tokyo and briefed them on India's zero tolerance to terrorism. Further, regional security challenges, including state-backed terrorism, was discussed during the interactive session. Participants expressed strong support for India's fight against terrorism. Earlier, the members of the delegation also paid floral tributes at the Mahatma Gandhi statue in Tokyo. The delegation will also be visiting Indonesia, Malaysia, Republic of Korea and Singapore to affirm India's resolve on combating terrorism in all its forms. Another all-party delegation headed by Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Shinde has reached United Arab Emirates, taking India's strong message of zero tolerance against terrorism and apprise about Operation Sindoor, along with Pakistan's role in harboring and nurturing terrorists. The delegation was officially received by Ahmed Mir Khoury, member of the Federal National Council of the UAE, and Indian ambassador to the UAE, Sanjay Sudhir. The delegation is engaging in high-level meetings in Abu Dhabi, beginning with an interaction with Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. The team reaffirmed their commitment to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. The all-party delegation also met Al-Nuami, Chairman of Defence Affairs, Interior and Foreign Affairs Committee, Federal and National Council and FNC members. They underscored India-UAE shared resolve for zero tolerance against terrorism. Discussions also covered parliamentary cooperation. After the UAE, the delegation will also visit Congo, Sierra Leone and Liberia. DD India correspondent Vinod Kumar joins us from Dubai. Good afternoon, Vinod. The Indian delegation has reached the UAE. What is the line of action that we are expecting from there?
That's correct, Deepika. The delegation and all-party group touched down in UAE early this morning. This marks a crucial steps in India's efforts to engage global partners in its fight against terrorism and to share its perspective in regional security challenges. And leading this multi-party delegation is Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Shinde, and accompanying him with our prominent parliamentarians like BJP MP Bansuri Swaraj, Abdul Garg, Manan Kumar Mishra, Biju Janadal Samsit Patra, and Indian Union Muslim League's MP E.T. Mohammad Bashir, and former diplomat and ambassador Sujin Genoy is also there in the group. This diverse representation underscores the united front that India aims to present in face of these terrorist activities that we have been facing for quite some time. The primary objective is to convey India's unwavering zero tolerance stance against terrorism in its all forms and manifestations, which was reiterated by the Minister of Tolerance and the Coexistence here. The delegation will be appraising UAE officials and the wider international community about the Operation Sindoor, which was launched in response to the terror attack that happened in April 22nd. And we are expected to have several high-level meetings. Two of these meetings is already over. The delegation met the Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, Sheikh Nahyan bin Nahyan, and they reciprocated the feelings of the need to fight global terrorism. The discussions reaffirmed both countries' commitment to combat terrorism and to highlight the ethos of harmony and tolerance. Later, they met Dr. Rashid Al-Nuami, the chairman of FNC, Federal National Council, which is equivalent to India's parliament here, and they also condemn terrorism in all forms and manifestations. And later in the day, there is meetings which is scheduled at the National Media Office, and they will be meeting the Director General Jamal Al-Kabi later in the day. And the most important part, the delegation is also addressing the Indian diaspora. We have got a huge auditorium in the Indian Embassy in Abu Dhabi. Later in the day, the delegation will be addressing the Indian diaspora. This outreach aims to highlight India's perspective of cross-border terrorism and garner international support. And we have many media-related events upcoming tomorrow. The delegation will be giving media interviews to prominent Gulf-based newspapers, and they'll be interacting with the local media presence here. Okay. And there will be interaction with think tanks also. These are the line of action that we are expecting.
And also take our viewers through the significance of this important initiative by the Government of India, Vinod.
Yeah, as you started, Deepika, this visit is part of a much larger campaign initiated by India. There are multiple parliamentary visits happening. And the most important point is that the first batch of these MPs landed in a country which is very close to India, that is UAE. And there are the other batches are also going to different locations here in the Middle East, which include Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar. The goal is to build international consensus against terrorism and isolate entities and states that support terrorism, and emphasizing India's firm and evolving stance dealing with cross-border threats. And the most important point, Deepika, the key message driven is here that terrorism anywhere poses a threat to peace everywhere. And there is a need for a concerted global action to ensure the safe havens of terrorists are dismantled and the enablers, wherever they are in the world, are held accountable.
All right. Thank you so much, Vinod, for joining us and bringing us the latest information from UAE. We're heading for a short break. We'll be right back.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life. warm up to grandeur that's beyond compare. And history that's dotted with tales of bravery. Smiling soul of India, where music, art, cuisine and culture comes together to create an unforgettable impression. Punjab is all set to win your hearts with its unique and colorful extravaganza.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You are watching the Indian News Hour. In his first public rally after the success of Operation Sindoor, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday highlighted the Indian Armed Forces' bravery during the operation. Addressing the rally in Bikaner, Prime Minister Narendra Modi issued a fresh warning over Pakistan and said that there will neither be any trade nor any talk with Pakistan. If there will be any talk, then it will only be about Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
बधाई देता हूं। मेरे साथ बोलिए, दोनों मुट्ठी बंद करके पूरी ताकत से बोलिए, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, वंदे वंदे।
Prime Minister added that Rajasthan teaches us that nothing is more important than the nation. Prime Minister further stressed that now India has made it clear that Pakistan will have to pay a heavy price for every terrorist attack. He also added that Operation Sindoor has set 3 principles to combat terrorism. First, if there is a terrorist attack on India, then a befitting reply will be given. Second, India is not going to be scared by the threats of atom bomb. And third, we will not see the masters of terror and the government that patronizes terror as separate. We will consider them as one.
हमारी सरकार ने तीनों सेनाओं को खुली छूट दे दी थी और तीनों सेनाओं ने मिलकर ऐसा चक्रव्यूह रचा कि पाकिस्तान को घुटने टेकने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। साथियों, 22 तारीख के हमले के जवाब में हमने 22 मिनट में आतंकियों के 9 सबसे बड़े ठिकाने तबाह कर दिए। दुनिया ने और देश के दुश्मनों ने भी देख लिया कि जब सिंदूर बारूद बन जाता है तो नतीजा क्या होता है।
In a landmark moment for Rajasthan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Amrit Bharat Deshnok railway station and flagged off Bikaner-Mumbai train service. Blending heritage with modern design, these stations now offer airport-like amenities, green energy solutions and enhanced passenger experience, marking a bold step towards a future-ready Indian Railways.
आधुनिक हो रहे इन रेलवे स्टेशनों को देश ने अमृत भारत स्टेशन का नाम दिया। आज इनमें से 100 से अधिक अमृत भारत स्टेशन बनकर के तैयार हो गए। विकास भी, विरासत भी, इस मंत्र का इन अमृत भारत रेलवे स्टेशनों पर उसका नजारा साफ साफ दिखाई देता है। ये स्थानीय कला और संस्कृति के भी नए प्रतीक है।
In addition, Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually inaugurated 103 redeveloped railway stations under Amrit Bharat Station scheme across 18 states and union territories, aiming at augmenting railway infrastructure, connectivity, water and energy sectors. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for 43 transformative projects worth over 23,400 crore rupees. In Deshnok, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid visit to an exhibition specially dedicated to heroes who sacrificed their lives for the country. He remembered the immortal tales of the brave sons of Bharat Mata. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also offered prayers at the Karni Mata temple in Deshnok, Rajasthan. The 16th century temple is known for its rat called Kaaba. According to the legend, spotting a white rat is considered to be auspicious. Deshnok falls under Bikaner, which is strategically located on the western front, sharing the border with Pakistan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first Prime Minister of India to visit the temple. War veterans were specially invited for the public rally of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Palana in Bikaner, as Rajasthan is the land of war heroes. TD India correspondent Vishal Paristo spoke to the war veterans. Take a listen.
On the Western Front, I am here at the rally of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and people from all walks of life are here. Especially, I have with me war veterans.
The Indian forces, the way they have executed this operation, it shows their professionalism and shows the gut and the Desh Bhakti what they have in them. It is very, very rare to find in today's time. If you see the way people are doing anti-national activities, going against the government, giving statements against the forces, but the forces have always proved that they are the one who are ready to die for the country whenever the call comes for it. It is a great honor that we, ex-servicemen, have been invited to this rally, especially after Operation Sindoor, which was well planned, well executed, and it destroyed the terrorist locations, their training areas, and even the air bases of Pakistan. And whatever attack the Pakistan did, it was neutralized by our air defense system very successfully. And a message has been given to the world that India now can act on its own and deliver the goods.
Well, absolutely. The message is loud and clear, and not from these ex-servicemen, but from the people of Bikaner, people from Rajasthan, and yes, from the top leadership, that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. With cameraman Vicky Rajput in Bikaner, this is Vishal Baristo for TD India.
Shajarpur railway station in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh has been transformed under Amrit Bharat station scheme, offering the passengers a modern and comfortable travel experience. TD India's Aditya Srivastav has got more. Take a look.
We are at Shajarpur railway station in Madhya Pradesh. This railway station is redeveloped under the Amrit Bharat railway station project. Madhya Pradesh Shajarpur railway station was revamped under the Amrit Bharat scheme. Now the passengers of Shajarpur railway station will experience enhanced comfort of cleanliness and several new facilities. The initiatives aims at improving infrastructure and service for passengers has been well received by both local and travelers. One of the major highlights is the introduction of a high-tech and accessible toilet facilities, ensuring cleanliness and hygiene for passengers. Additionally, the station's waiting room has been upgraded to an air-conditioned lounge, offering respite from the heat during the summer months. Improved sitting arrangements, including Apple chairs, have also been made, providing comfort to those waiting for their trains. Along with the new amenities, the station already offers service such as food stall, free Wi-Fi and ATMs, further cementing its status as a modern passenger-friendly facility. Local residents and travelers have also welcomed this transformation. With camera person Vijay Sharma, Aditya Srivastav, DD India, Shajarpur.
Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
geopolitics and trade deals, economic challenges amid development, hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. After that short break, you're watching DD India News Hour. Now, 2 Israeli embassy staffers were killed in a shooting outside an event at the Capital Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. A man and a woman were shot and killed in the area of 3rd and F Streets in Northwest, which is near the museum. Washington Police Chief Pamela Smith said a single suspect who was seen pacing outside the museum before the event was in custody. Suspect has been identified as a 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez. FBI Director Kash Patel said he and his team had been briefed on the shooting, while US President Donald Trump expressed condolences to the families of the victims and blamed anti-Semitism for shooting. Israel has allowed over 108 trucks into Gaza after an 11-week blockade, but critical humanitarian supplies are still not reaching those in need. The situation on the ground remains dire as airstrikes continue, with Netanyahu's renewed vow to overtake Gaza. Here's more.
After an 11-week blockade on supplies entering Gaza, a total of 98 aid trucks entered on Monday and Tuesday. But even those minimal supplies have not made it to Gaza soup kitchens, bakeries, markets and hospitals. The blockade has left Gazans in an increasingly desperate struggle for survival, despite growing international and domestic pressure on Israel's government. The Israeli airstrikes hit 115 targets, which included rocket launchers, tunnels and unspecified military infrastructure. Speaking in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated his goal, the full disarmament of Hamas and Israeli military control over Gaza.
If there is an opportunity for a temporary ceasefire to return additional hostages, and I want to emphasize a temporary ceasefire, we are prepared for that. Our forces are capturing more and more territories to clear them of terrorists and Hamas's terror infrastructure. And at the end of this process, all of the Gaza Strip will be under Israeli security control and Hamas will be completely defeated.
Efforts to halt the fighting have faltered with both Hamas and Israel. The resumption of the assault on Gaza since March, following a 2-month ceasefire, has drawn condemnation from countries including Britain and Canada that have long been cautious about expressing open criticism of Israel. While responding, Netanyahu said it was a disgrace that countries like Britain were sanctioning Israel instead of Hamas. There has been growing unease within Israel, meanwhile, at the continuation of the conflict, while 58 hostages still remain in Gaza. Bureau Report, DD India.
When President of South Africa landed in Washington to meet the President of the United States, it was with a deal in mind. But Donald Trump responded with an ambush and a move that blindsided Ramaphosa. South African leader kept calm in the face of an ambush by Donald Trump about false white genocide claims. Our next report gives you more details. Take a look.
US President Donald Trump confronted his South African counterpart Cyril Ramaphosa Wednesday with false claims of white genocide and land seizures during a tense Oval meeting in the White House. Ramaphosa had hoped to use Wednesday's meeting to reset his country's relationship with the United States, but Trump decided to follow a different curve. In presence of the media, Trump played a video and claimed that it showed black South African politicians calling for persecution of white farmers and white people.
Death, death, death.
A lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that.
Ramaphosa remained poised and pushed back against Trump's claims. After initially appearing stunned by the move, he stayed calm, avoiding the kind of confrontation Trump had with Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, in February this year.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But, okay, let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy.
The South African president later termed the meeting as a great success. He still expects Trump to attend G20 summit in Johannesburg in November.
So in the end, we had a really good bilateral, although a number of issues came up, which you will all have observed. And we were able to have a robust engagement with Mr. Trump in your presence, and we were able then to have really good in-depth exchanges with President Trump and his other officials.
US earlier this month granted refugee status to more than 50 white Afrikaners, despite stopping taking asylum seekers from the rest of the world. Bureau Report, DD India.
And now let's get you all the market update. Equities sank and treasuries remained under pressure on Thursday following sharp losses on Wall Street, fueled by US economic fears as Donald Trump tries to push through fresh cuts that could balloon the already huge deficit. A weak auction of 20-year US government debt flashed a warning sign that the bond market was worried about the country's finances. Bond yields spiked across the board as the investors demanded more interest for holding government debt. Asian and European equities also sank, with Tokyo, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Sydney, Seoul, Singapore, Taipei, Mumbai, Bangkok, Wellington and Manila all in the red. London, Paris and Frankfurt also dropped in the morning as data showed Eurozone business activity contracted in the month of May. In Europe, markets are trading near record highs, especially in Germany, where the DAX has broken through yet another barrier this week. At a time, however, when the economy is still stalling. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin. Good afternoon, Lars. What's the latest you're hearing from the economists?
Thanks for having me. Indeed, what crazy times we're living in. There are record highs left and right, but there is no data really to back up this kind of strength. Now, I want to point to two reports that we just got. One comes from the European Central Bank, and it states that the ongoing trade conflict between the US and the rest of the world is likely harmful to the EU economy. Well, that's not really surprising at all, of course. And the other report comes from Germany's Economic Advisory Panel. They just gave an update on the German economy. And to put this in context to markets, the experts on the panel are also seeing that markets have essentially decoupled from economic reality. But they say that obviously markets are looking at the future, and with the right policies implemented by the new German government, they say that the future in an economic way might be a lot brighter.
Also, let's have a closer look at the Economic Advisory Panel. What are they saying about the current and future state of the German economy, Lars?
Well, first of all, they've lowered their growth outlook for Germany. Their last prognosis stood at growth of around 0.4% for this year. Now they're expecting zero growth. That's, of course, what we've already heard from other economists as well. The panel now says, let me quote the chairwoman here, Monika Schnitzer. She just said in a press conference yesterday that the German economy will be significantly influenced by two factors in the near future: U.S. tariff policy and the fiscal package. Obviously, the first one is out of the government's hands. Now, trade is done at an EU level, and honestly, even at the EU level, they don't really know how to approach Trump and his ever-changing tariff ideas. The other factor, however, is very much in the government's hands. The economic advisors say that a 500 billion euro special fund for infrastructure investments could lead to growth of up to 6% over the next couple of years, if the money is spent wisely. They specifically say we need to see real investment here in infrastructure, in education, in future technology and businesses, and then this could pay off handsomely. Whereas they're also warning that just spending these extra billions on already planned projects or on pet projects would really not pay off. It would be squandering an opportunity, and it could actually even diminish growth.
All right, thank you so much, Lars, for joining us and bringing us the latest on this. Moving on now, let's get you all the latest action from the world of sports. To begin with football first, Brennan Johnson's winner held Tottenham Hotspur and 17-year-old trophy drought with a 1-0 victory over Manchester United in the Europa League final against in Bilbao. Johnson scored the 42nd minute when United's defence crumbled. It was Spurs' first silverware since the 2008 League Cup and their first European trophy since 1984. This is the fourth time they had beaten United this season. Spurs will play in next season's Champions League, while failing to qualify for it is a severe financial setback for Manchester United. It was a match between teams languishing in 16th and 17th place respectively after their dismal Premier League campaign. In shooting, Indian shooter Kanak won the women's 10-meter air pistol event at the ongoing ISSF Junior Shooting World Cup in Germany to pick up country's first gold medal in the category. The 17-year-old Indian shooter secured 239 points in the final to beat Anna of Moldova by 1.7 points, while Chinese Taipei's Chen Yu-cheng won the bronze medal. 19-year-old Dolce is a two-time Olympian and reigning European champion. Meanwhile, India drew a blank in men's 10-meter air pistol event with Chirag Sharma narrowly missing the podium. He finished fourth in the final with 197.6 points. India sent a 57-member strong contingent to the country. In cricket, Gujarat Titans will aim for a crucial victory in the Indian Premier League when they face Lucknow Super Giants in Ahmedabad on Thursday. Titans have already booked their place in the playoff category. Now their focus shifts to securing a top 2 finish, which would boost their chances of making it to the final. Their formidable top 3, B. Sai Sudarshan, Captain Shubman Gill and Jos Butler, have been in stunning form, providing the backbone for their victories. Moving on, Secretary of Sports for Daman and Diu, Dr. Arun, is hopeful that Khelo India Beach Games will help in establishing Diu as a beach game and tourist destination. In an exclusive conversation with DD India Suchitra, Dr. Arun talked about the infrastructure that was developed for these games and the legacy plans as well. Take a listen.
We have with us Dr. Arun, Secretary Sports, Daman and Diu. Sir, many congratulations. Thank you. Beach games were hosted last year also in Diu, but now with the Khelo India umbrella getting wider day by day, these beach games are now called Khelo India Beach Games. So what is your take on that?
So it's a great honor for us because when we were the first state to do the India's first multi-sport beach event. It was in 2024. It was even featured in Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat also. So based on the grand success, now the Sports Authority of India, Government of India has adopted it. Last year there was 1,700 participants including athletes. This year still more, around 2,122 athletes including participants. So it's a great honor for us.
Diu is being developed as a tourist destination and now as beach game destinations. So what are your expectations from these games?
I'm sure because of the beach games, there will be definitely there will be a positive impact on the tourism as well.
Now, because of these games, you will come to limelight. So, how do you find the local support for these beach games?
Yeah, the local people are very, very positive. In fact, you would have noticed in the inaugural day also, almost 15,000 plus crowd was there in the inaugural ceremony. So normally the population of Diu is very, very small, around 50,000, and in that one from every family is here. That's a very positive support.
Thank you so much for talking to us. So Dr. Arun, Secretary Sports, Daman and Diu, he is really hopeful that these beach games will bring a lot of good attention to Diu, and the locals as well as the spectators will enjoy these games. With camera person Ajit, this is Suchitra reporting for DD India in Diu.
And as we come closer to the show, let's now take a look at unique artistry from a Cuban artist, Jose Fuster, who started plastering his home with colorful mosaic palms and animals. Now his home has become a tourist spot for visitors who travel from different parts of the world to visit his residence, commonly called as Fusterlandia. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from the country and the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.